Hi everyone, welcome back. This is episode 5 in our Jenerise Cr.01 Distributor Series, the series where I am introducing you to the partners that we've chosen to bring Jenerise Cr.01 to market. That's our new flagship precision grade creatine monohydrate. Today I am joined by Bill Dickinson, who's over in the United States, and he is the CEO and president of Osage Food Products, who are our exclusive distribution partner for North America for Creatine 1. You might know Osage from their long 25 plus year history in the protein space, or more recently for Solve Pro or Dairy Pro, as well as Osage flavors and Osage colors. I'm really excited to share Bill's perspective on our partnership with you today. I did have a bit of a problem with the file from this recording. So what I'm doing right now is actually re-recording my introduction and my questions for Bill, and that'll be edited together as a montage with his original answers. So if you do notice some incongruencies in the flow of the conversation, that is why. However, Bill's answers were just so great and spot on that I did not want to re-record and try and recreate it for you. So Bill is going to go ahead and share with you how we met. My dad, Steve, and a colleague of Bill's, West, first met last year at the Sports and Active Nutrition Summit in San Diego. And West was very, very quick and keen to talk to my dad about what Jenerise had in the works. So Bill's going to share with you how this all got started and what it's been like to collaborate so far.
It was a phone call from Wes as he was out in San Diego, probably very shortly after he met with your dad. And Wes called and said, Bill, we need to talk about this creatine supplier that I just ran into. Wes talked to me a bit about it. And he was very excited about the conversation he had with your dad. And as soon as he came back, we talked more. And I said, yes, we need to pursue this opportunity. Let's dive in and find out how we can work with these folks.
On this point, I really agree that it's been a really natural evolution for Jenerise and Osage to be connected and now partnered on the distribution for Creatine 1. What Bill's going to share with you now is the moment when he knew and Osage really decided that it was time to lock in a branded creatine and offer it as an ingredient in Osage's portfolio.
I think the moment really began with high quality branded product. Because from our perspective, as a distributor, you can look at a lot of different ingredients. We want to know that what we're bringing to our customers is a high quality product, not just the, hey, I want the cheapest material on the marketplace. So that's really where it started, and understanding that we could provide a value to Jenerise. The Jenerise product was going to provide a value to Osage, adding to our portfolio. That's what it's all about. We look at ourselves as a solutions provider. And as you mentioned, with creatine it's the next step. It's already there, and starting to see a lot of interest in putting it into products outside of just put it in the tub and add flavor and go. So yeah, it just fit.
I loved Bill's answer to that question, and the distribution partnership is exclusive. So that means that Osage actually has quite a big responsibility. We all know that the North American market is absolutely massive, and it's leading globally for creatine purchasing and creatine growth. So it is going to be really exciting to work together and get creatine to B2C customers through Osage. And they already have such a strong network from their protein track record over the last 25 years. The next question that I asked Bill is how Creatine 1 from Jenerise fits into the vision for Osage. They've been expanding recently. They have a new flavor system. They have a new color system. And I was really curious to understand more about how such a legacy, almost 3-decade company envisages creatine fitting into their portfolio and where they're looking to take the business in the next couple of years. So here's Bill's answer.
If you look at the history of the business, my background, 30 plus years in the whey protein business. And for the bulk of that time, it's been whey protein put into a 2-pound jug, 5-pound jug, the very traditional sport nutrition market. As we look to grow the business, we're expanding our footprint into bakery, ice cream, snack, confection. That's the next evolution of growth for this business. And back to, as you mentioned, you look at creatine, there's certainly a fabulous market there for just the traditional sport nutrition application, but looking at all the other health benefits of creatine, and I'm sure more will be uncovered as science moves along. It's a fabulous growth mechanism and partners well with the products that we're already bringing to market. Our flavor and color business is largely centered around sport nutrition, bakery, confection, ice cream, all these same markets where we feel creatine is going to be a great fit, as is protein already. So again, just a natural progression that we are very excited about for the growth of our business.
The next question that Bill is going to answer is about the ingredient and about creatine, what he's most excited about in terms of what it's going to offer, what we're going to see from it in North America as B2C customers start to use Creatine 1 in their products. And this is Bill's answer to that question.
I think what excites us most is the opportunities that are out there in the food space. Going back to what we look at as far as the growth and consumer awareness of the value of creatine. I would say, though, too, that to your comment as far as working with a family-owned business, we love that fact about you folks because we can bring value to your business. If you were talking about a large multinational, we're not the right fit. I don't know how much business, value we bring to those types of companies, but because, as you mentioned, family owned, I say a small business. We're not necessarily a small business, but we act like it from the standpoint of how we treat our customers. One of the things we pride ourselves on is if somebody calls this office, there's somebody who actually answers the phone. So just wanted to touch on that a bit, but as mentioned, what we look at as far as the overall excitement of this product is we can grow your business. We're very confident that, and because we can add value to your business, that's exciting. If I can't add value to somebody's business, maybe it's transactional, but we can add value. That's what's really exciting about this.
As you can tell from Bill's answer, we are really ambitious for the North American market with Creatine 1, but the Osage team also really prides themselves on personal relationships, good communication, and customer service. So further, what I also wanted to know from Bill is a little bit more about his 30 years working in the protein space. And so to wrap up the interview for today, Bill's going to share his journey with you about how he got started and also how he was able to stay committed to such a specific business case for more than 30 years. I really loved the story that he had to share, and I'm going to put that in the montage right now.
And this was in the early 90s when there was one whey protein facility in the United States. But you go back to the original days of Wheater and some of those very first nutrition brands. And I'm going to make myself sound very old here. I was sending faxes to dairies throughout the globe looking for whey protein, and I got a response from a dairy called United Milk Tasmania. And before I knew it, we were handling all of their WPC 80 that was coming to the United States. That dairy was eventually purchased by Bonlac, and then that was eventually purchased by Fonterra. And by the time I'd started Osage, I was just entrenched in whey protein. And that was 1999 when I started Osage. You were just starting to see some whey protein WPC 80 plants starting here in the US. So I kind of fell into it. for lack of a better term, and it stuck. And as we grew a relationship with Fonterra. We're an authorized North American reseller for Fonterra. Been supporting the New Zealand dairy protein brand for many years, and we've also built out a very solid domestic supply, which evolved into our own Dairy Pro brand. So I guess you fall into something and then you just get old doing it. But it's been fun.
I mean, that says it all, and that's really how you grow to have such an expertise in the industry, which we really, really value. And we are really excited for Osage to be layering creatine into their portfolio on top of such a strong history with protein. So to wrap up, Bill is going to share with you what it's like to work with Osage. If you are listening and you are interested in getting Creatine 1 in your next product or formulation in North America, you might want to contact them, and this is what you can expect.
Well, the first question, what it's like to work with Osage, I would expect and hope it's an absolute pleasure because, again, with our customer service team, just our everyday approach to business, we're very laid back, but we are here to get the job done. We'll get answers for our customers and do everything we possibly can to help our customers. I think the beauty, again, of our business is not only is it about us bringing a creatine to the market or any protein, we have in-house formulation. We can assist with flavoring. We can do a lot of bring a lot of other services to that customer. So yeah, reach out because, like I said, we answer the phone. You don't have to press buttons to try to find somebody. We are here, and we're just happy to take calls and talk to customers about whatever problem, however we may be able to help solve that problem. And certainly are very excited to start talking with folks about the Jenerise creatine products.
It was such a pleasure to interview Bill. I hope you enjoyed. If you're listening, do make sure to reach out to the Osage team. And we also have some events planned for North America. The Osage team will be at ISSN later in June, and also at Supply Side. Steve and I will be joining on the Osage booth as well. So thank you so much to Bill for joining me and sharing more, answering all of these questions and giving people an insight into the partnership between Osage and Jenerise. Watch this space. There's a lot of big things to come, and I will close this out with Bill's last words from the interview.
I guess the inevitable words of Buzz Lightyear, to the moon and beyond. Let's go. We're going to bring Jenerise creatine to North America.